This is your number one.
Why do you think this quote, "Na woman dey drive"? Why do you think it is an unspoken rule?
Another perspective is that I feel it comes from the place of lack of patience.
It's just the societal way that people have already reasoned women to be like already. There are many times that women drive way better than men.
I want us to separate this superiority thing that you're talking about.
Men are always in a haste to bypass rules, while women will always want to follow rules.
If you're learning how to drive, you're expected to get your learner's permit, which will cover you for a period of 3 months.
Flick Play is the latest feature on the Flickro app.
We thought that, users should be able to score points when they use a particular service or a particular feature.
Most of the times when I see them tow these vehicles, they use very strong ropes.
You're listening to only the best
automotive podcast in Nigeria.
All right, good evening, everyone. Good day, wherever you're listening to. This is the Flickro podcast. All right, hope your day went well. Hope your day is still going well. If you just join in, thank you very much for joining. I really do appreciate. For those that do not know what this podcast or what this space is about, this is where we talk about things that has to do with automobiles, the automotive industry, and then how we can move it to the next level, and also how the automotive industry, also for car lovers and people that deal in cars. I want to have a little bit of understanding on things that has to do with that realm. All right, I am your host, and I have been hosting this for a while. My name is Joshua Ikenye Mercury. So welcome everyone. Today's episode or today's edition is going to be a special one because we have someone to give us in-depth analysis into a particular topic of discuss today. So if you are joining and you want to learn one or two things about the automobile space and then technology and how it affects the automotive industry, stay tuned and don't go anywhere. All right, the topic that we will be talking about today is the role of technology in the automotive industry, or better put, the role of technology in the advancement of the automobile industry. All right, and the part that technology has to play, in taking the automotive industry to the next level, and how important it is for us to move with the trend and move with how fast technology is coming to play. All right, I have a guest that will be doing justice to this topic. So his name is Souren. I hope I do not. I hope I pronounce this right. I hope I really do pronounce this right.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for joining. I really do appreciate it. Souren Khetcho, right?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you very much for joining. All right. So Souren is the CEO of OpenAuto. Yes. He is joining me. He is joining us from Canada, Vancouver. A very big thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay. Let's dive straight into it. Now, can you share some insight about your journey into the automobile space, and then as well the role that you play in OpenAuto?
Yeah. So initially, I was like a super outsider to the industry itself. My background comes from software engineering and cybersecurity, and when I first got introduced to the automotive industry was through my first startup, where we were building voice machine learning algorithms that helps the front desk people, whether they were the service advisors or they were the clerks at stores. And we tried to crack into the automotive industry by helping repair shops streamline their communication with their consumers. The problem, however, was that it was under-innovated across the board, whether it was from integration support, whether it was the industry itself not adapting to the technological trends or adopting new tech internally. And that's where I noticed that there's a huge gap in terms of innovation in other industries versus the automotive industry. And that's where we marched ahead, building OpenAuto, where we are building an ecosystem that connects repair shops and their customers, as well as provide infrastructure, which we hope in our future build infrastructure for future startups to build on top of this amazing industry.
All right, thank you very much. Just to go from what you just said now, you said there's a huge gap in the automotive industry. Can you highlight a few things, one or two things that you feel like is something that is actually affecting the automobile industry that you feel your company as Open Autos is here to change?
So one of the three primary concerns that people face when they deal with any repair shop or when they have, when they deal, and by the way, I'm biased to repair shops. The automotive industry is far beyond just the maintenance and repair. It comes to, the selling of the cars and the the buying experience, as well as vetting repair shops that you want to take your car to if you want to fix your car. But one of the primary components that we focus on at OpenAuto are providing convenience, ensuring quality, as well as ensuring transparency. And I think these three components are primary to the decision making of consumers when it comes to choosing which shop they want to take their car to. The gap that I was talking about is due to lack of technological adoption, whether it was communication tools or whether it was the ability to accurately price out certain jobs. It makes it difficult to achieve these three components, and that's what creates bad customer experience overall. From what we have studied in this industry, we learned that a lot of the decisions that consumers make are driven by their first encounter and their first experience, and they usually, once they find a shop or choose a shop, they usually don't tend to change that shop, and they keep going if they had a good experience. So in terms of, to bridge the gaps in terms of communication and transparency, we have to have these tools quickly available for these shops to adapt. But there's also a responsibility on the shop's side to be proactive in adapting and adopting these tools. And we have noticed that a lot of the people who run these repair shops don't tend to spend the effort on integrating these tools with their shops. But quickly we have learned that this is changing, especially in the recent years. Many startups, whether it was from Silicon Valley or from elsewhere, have started building more tech-driven shop management tools, and that's hopefully changing the future of this industry.
True. So your mission for your company, Open Autos, is to make auto repair maintenance accessible to every vehicle owner at a click of a button, without pondering on whether you should take your car or where you should take your car. Pondering about the piles of paperwork and all those things. Now, how has Open Auto been able to achieve all this mission over the years?
So, that's a good question. Since we broke it down to the primary components, which we talked about, convenience, quality, and transparency, it was quickly apparent what actions we need to take as an organization, as well as what tools we need to build to ensure that we achieve these primary components. So for example, for convenience, we offer free vehicle pickup and drop off. So you don't have to wait at the repair shop. You don't have to spend your entire day trying to find the repair shop, because we have ensured that we create a network of vetted repair shops that provide the quality we want to offer to our customers. So we've taken care of the quality aspect, the convenience aspect, and in terms of transparency, you get a a very realistic estimation before the vehicle leaves your place as to how much the repair or the service is going to cost. And if you do end up receiving additional services, you only choose to authorize what you think is suitable for your budget. So we have noticed that sometimes repair shops do not request authorization for certain things. And that's where the transparency of pricing becomes a problem. We ensure that every job, if it's going to get done, it is authorized by the customer before we go ahead. So if they choose to decline the jobs, then they decline it. And obviously, if it's something that is safety related, then they sign that, I know that I'm declining a safety related service. And then once they decline it, then they will receive their car back.
Okay. All right. So I want us to come back. We'll come back to this. Talking about how open autos is actually advancing the automotive industry. But I want us to talk about the topic of today now, which is the technological advancement and the technological trends. So now recently, technological trends in the automotive industry, like the artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and all these things find their application in the automotive system and the automotive sector. Now, these technological advancements enable automobile companies like the automotive companies like Open Autos, as we find ourselves, to produce self-driven, or other companies as well to produce self-driven cars and offer multiple solutions. Now, for example, statistics have shown that 52% of new vehicles that will be sold in 2030 will be electric. Now, this brings me to ask, according to you, what are the top three, according to you now, what are the top three technological innovations currently revolutionizing the automotive industry? And could you elaborate on how Open Auto is integrating these innovations into its operation? Did you get the question?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think the three most important innovations that are currently happening in the automotive industry. The first is self-driving cars or self-driving technology. It's still far from actually being accurate or being able to be fully self-driving. There are certain legal challenges there, which will always be there. That's why we always tie self-driving with electric, which is, a natural integration in my opinion. However, that's not always the case. Self-driving tech is its own domain. Electric vehicles is another major component, and it's another major trend, as you mentioned. But when self-driving cars come up with electric vehicles, they are considered as a natural integration, but they're not, they're two separate things. And a lot of people think, okay, electric vehicles means self-driving cars. That might not be the case, that you will get electric vehicles, which you already do, way before, self-driving is widely adopted, given how legislations work out, especially in North America. In terms of the third primary component is customer service, in my opinion. And customer service is a component that will be quickly affected given the advancement in technologies like large language models and being able to quickly understand and take action on the concerns that the customer brings up. And this is a domain that I have had worked with for 2 years prior to OpenAuto with Vocally, with my previous startup. And we've learned that customer service does influence decision making in terms of what the purchase the customer is going to take, A or B. So when we are deciding what we're going to do with OpenAuto, given these trends, we learn that service availability, for example, for electric vehicles is an extended period. You have to wait 3 weeks sometimes to get your electric vehicle serviced. And by service, like for example, do an inspection or check your suspension components and so on. And there's a lot of delay given that it's only being done through dealerships. What we have learned is a lot of independent repair shops are starting to, and a lot of institutions that provide automotive repair training are starting to provide EV training as well. So I would expect eventually every repair shop that is independent is going to have one person in their shop dealing with EVs and can maintain EVs. And that should bring down the wait times to get your EV serviced. The other trend which we know and we are working on as OpenAuto is using technology like GPT-4 and large language models to provide more of a bespoke user experience based on the vehicle repair history and be able to provide, exclusive as well as tailored customer experience and customer support to each user on our platform. So this is how we are, and we try to push our network of shops to start to adapt these tools and be able to push them to adapt more EV training. So that's how we are doing it.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Now talking about technology and how technological advancement is taking over, and also as well as other factors or other sectors is also as much having a huge impact in the automotive industry. Now, would you say that technology is making maintenance and repair more effective and more cost effective and more efficient? And then, can you share a way in which that has happened in this year and this dispensation? That's 2023.
Are you saying the question is? Are you saying that technology has influenced
Yes.
the quality
So
of the repairs, or?
yeah.
Or
So the question is technology making the maintenance and repair more efficient and cost effective? You know, and then
yeah,
in this time, yeah, and then in this time and age, can you share at least just one experience that you can say to point that out?
yeah, for sure. That's definitely is the case. Communication gaps don't only exist between the shops and the customers. It exists between the service advisors and the shop floor, as well as between the mechanics and between their parts suppliers. Ensuring that effective communication happens between the time that a job is authorized, for example, to the time that the parts are ordered and the parts arrive is critical to the timeliness of the job completion. So technology has helped to reduce the amount of time or the amount of wait time on different instances. Um, Besides the mechanics efficiency of getting that job done. So we've noticed that a lot of independent repair shops who adopt online parts ordering get to finish their jobs faster because their mechanics are not waiting. The jobs are automated more than you phoning the parts supplier to order your parts. So that's one way that technology has helped make the repair experience for the mechanic more efficient. And that means for the end customer that they don't have to wait an extra hour because this all accumulates at the end of the day. They don't have to wait an extra hour. They get their vehicle dealt with much sooner. The other component is quotes and estimation. Technology has created tools like people have created tools like All Data, and ShopMonkey uses a company called Motor to pull something called labor guides and labor times. And for those of you listening who don't know what labor guides are, they are basically procedures for each repair possible for each vehicle. And you could quickly get a how-to guide step by step of what you need to do, let's say, to replace a certain component in the car. And for the person who is going to, let's say, quote the customer, they know how much labor it takes, how many hours it takes for us to complete a certain job or a certain repair, which makes creating the quote and sending it to the customer faster. You don't have to look it up through a book and spend 30 minutes trying to find, the number of hours it would take to do the repair. So that's how here. These are two ways that technology has influenced the efficiency of job completion and job quotation.
Okay, thank you very much. Now talking about the efficiency of um um job sorry, you said the efficiency of work completion, yes. And now talking about the efficiency of work completion, um do you think as a company it has affected or is there a special way that for your company um technology or technological advancement or new tools or new mechanisms or new machines that you may have gotten would have helped you um, make work faster, for your organization? Are there tools like that that you may have gotten as a result of technological advancement that has made work faster for you as a company?
Yeah, like as I mentioned, we do use tools like All Data and Motor for the labor guides, but we also have, we do use, especially for the shops, and I think this is more relevant to the listeners. We use tools like Shop Monkey, which provides you a way to look up the vehicle details and the VIN number through the license plate, and you will get all the vehicle details. How much fluid it takes to do an oil change right at your fingertips, and that makes it much faster for us to know exactly what the next step is going to look like in the service process and the service procedure, because you have this information readily available and quickly. Other tools which we will soon experiment with is augmented workspaces. And by that, I mean providing augmented glasses to our mechanics in order for them to access this information even faster. Instead of them walking to their computer or pulling their phone, they have
Mm,
this information ready in their corner of their eye.
mm,
Um, one integration difficulties we've noticed is that it becomes a little bit too bulky for the mechanic to have it if they are actually doing the procedure, and it
mm,
does not create a very safe work environment. If the augmented glass falls, or it's an expensive piece of equipment, and you don't want to get it damaged. But
mm,
there are companies out there that are making more rigid AR glasses, which I think we would adapt in our process. And this should also improve communication between the mechanics, between the service advisor, your boss who tells you, okay, we got authorization to do the brakes on this car. You, he doesn't have to walk all the way to you to tell you that. He can just snap his finger, basically, connect with you, and you're in his ear.
mhm,
So that's few ways that I can see this happening pretty,
mm,
pretty soon in the next few years.
Okay. Okay, so I also feel like technology is rushing on us, and I believe that in a couple of years, the kind of AI tools that would be available right now, that will be available for us to use. I mean, talking about the automotive industry, would be mind blowing, and something that we can be able to that would be able to be more cost effective and also more efficient compared to what we have now. Well, yes, thank you for that. I would also like to ask, given the current trends and advancement in technology, if you were supposed to choose between um, a hybrid or electric vehicle, which would you opt for and why?
Um, this is it's not a simple question as, okay, a hybrid or electric. I think the options should be beyond this, and I think we should explore other means of creating energy to 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 move a person from point A to point B. I'm not sure if cars
Okay.
are the right answer as well. So
Mm,
I think there's a deeper, more, I guess, philosophical question is here
yeah.
as to, okay, why do you need to move in the first place, and what's the most efficient way for you to move as an individual? Um, is it a vehicle?
Mm,
And is this just, uh, if it's only for means of transportation, maybe there are other more, quicker, cheaper ways to achieve this. And
mm,
hopefully, that, we come up with individual vehicles that might be electric, might have a different system.
mm,
But if we dumb down I guess, the answer as to what the projection looks like, it's going to be electric. It seems to be going towards electric and
mm,
electric vehicles. The thing is, we still haven't solved the core power generation problem as to, like, we're still burning coal to charge these EVs. If we
yeah.
adopt more nuclear power, for example, in a safe manner, then we have cleaner ways to produce electricity for
Mm,
these EVs. Um, the most important piece of technology EVs are going to require is battery technology. Like
mm,
Tesla is not only, it's not really a car company. Sure, their product is a vehicle, but they are a data and battery technology company. If you really think about it, they use a brushless motor. Their motors, in terms of technology, is not a super new technology. Like, I'm sure BMW or other, car manufacturers are going to be able to produce it. However, what Tesla's got is battery technology and being able to uh, create a product which happened to be a vehicle, a car, that is infused with so many sensors that you are able to turn it into a smart, moving data collection tool, which is what Tesla cars are.
okay. All right. I think I also buy the idea when you say it depends on it's actually not a straightforward answer because I mean talking about carbon emission and which is actually gotten from the proper traditional hybrid um, kind of vehicles. Now moving towards electric, you may not really have to make that particular choice because I mean both of them may have their pros and cons. But I think with technological advancement, it's making it easier for us to make decisive choices. But let's bring it back to open autos right now. Now, open autos, I believe, provide um, a complete auto care solutions to its customers along pickup and delivery of their vehicles. And all this is done from the comfort
Yeah,
of your office at Vancouver, Canada, right?
yeah, that's right.
All right. So now, how does Open Auto plan to unify the experience and the quality of everything automotive across every city in Canada?
So we have quality standards in place that determines whether a shop that we assess could be on our network or not. Uh, the quality is determined on multiple factors that we go through when we are assessing every shop. And if a shop is, passes, then they become part of the vetted network of shops. If they don't pass, then we just don't have them on board. Uh, it's in the advantage of shops to want to be on our network because it does provide some exclusivity
Mm,
and to to be part of OpenAuto. I don't believe that every shop ever should be on the platform. Um, they could maybe try to be on the platform, but we dictate how the jobs are managed, and we
mm,
ensure that quality is maintained across the board. Because at the end of the day, the reason people come to us, or one of the primary reasons people come to us, is that we ensure the quality of the service that they are getting is the highest that exists.
Mm,
So to ensure that this is the same level across, Canada, for example,
mm,
um, it we know that the training programs that exist for mechanics is pretty unified across the country and even across North America. And you know, training in terms of vehicle maintenance and repairs and the diagnostic procedures is pretty is a pretty standardized process. It's just a matter of how well or experienced this person is. So they could be here, they could be in Calgary, they could be in New York. It doesn't really matter. Um, as long as they have the right experience and they know, how to provide quality service. And we do standardize certain service procedures to ensure that the experience is unified as well. So the shops that we work with, they already understand, what our requirements are when they are doing an inspection, what our requirements are when they are doing a general service.
mm. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. I believe that OpenAuto is doing a very great job in Canada. We were talking about how they are providing quality automotive, services for people in Canada. Now let's talk about the software that is the diagnostic and repair softwares. It's important that you use the best of the best software so that we can identify the particular problems early. Now um, using the best software, the best diagnostic software, you can be sure that you you will receive a short summary of every issue. Now, it will also allow you to understand the severity of a problem and get detailed instruction on the steps you need to take. All right, the steps you need to take to solve those particular problems. Now, familiarity with um, diagnostics and repair softwares used in modern vehicles is a huge skill gap in the automotive servicing and repair industry. Now, the question is, what five measures can you take, has been taken to close this gap? What five measures do you think has been taken to close this gap?
I think it goes beyond just the available technology that the mechanic can use in order for them to arrive to what is causing the problem.
Mm,
One of the primary, um, reasons why people take their car to a repair shop in the first place is not only because their car has a problem. It's a lot of the times is because their car needs maintenance, and that's routine maintenance, whether it was brakes, suspensions, mechanical components, and these are pretty apparent for any experienced mechanic to tell exactly what the problem is. In terms of the diagnostic procedure itself, if it's non-electric, like if it's non, if it has nothing to do with the computer modules of the car, and then you can quickly tell what could be the problem. And there's an investigative procedure that is pretty standardized, to my knowledge, at least here in North America, as to how you can go by doing your diagnostic procedure when you are faced, let's say, with a unique problem. Let's say the car comes in and then they say, oh, we have a clunking noise on the front. Something doesn't feel right. The first thing that the mechanic is going to do is that put it on the hoist and lift it up to see and look whether the suspension components are tight. These, thought through, you know, uh, processes are adapted by almost every mechanic or almost every good mechanic. They know exactly where they should be looking at. If you tell him that, maintenance and mechanical is the majority of problems. Now, let's say they have a check engine light and then they come, they don't really know what it is. We do use scan tools and quality scan tools to pull the codes. But once you pull the code, you could use the same tools like all data or motor to look up what the meaning of that code is. Now, if you are an inexperienced mechanic, once you find what the meaning of the code is, then you would think, oh, that's the problem. We should replace that faulty sensor. But a lot of the times, that might not be the case. And that's where the experience of the mechanic comes in play. They might have seen it before, that thinking, okay, when we replaced the sensor last time, the other component was faulty. They would check the other component first before they recommend to replace the sensor. So this is just an example. So experience plays a big role in determining the conclusion of the diagnostics, as well as the the tools that they use really just comes secondary or comes as a help. It's not the primary determiner of whether the mechanic will be able to find a problem or not.
All right, thank you very much. Experience plays a very huge part. Right now, I want to ask you a question that this is somewhat on a personal, level. We've talked about we've talked about open autos, we've talked about the technological advancement in automotive industry. Now, let me ask you what your preference is when it comes to automobiles. Yeah, what's your preference? Do you lean towards simplicity, or classiness, or advancement in technological features? What is your preference in automobile?
I would prefer something that is more technologically advanced, just because I actually like to see how these components are put together, and I do prefer the vehicles that have more technology infused in them, even though that means sometimes that they have more problems or they have a greater chance of failure because they have more failure points. Um, Classic vehicles are always going to be there and maybe for the next 20 years, but the definition of classic vehicles is going to quickly change. But yeah, my personal preference, I would want to experience more technologically advanced vehicles and see how technology is influencing the driving experience of people. But yeah, that's kind of how I would sum it up.
All right. Very much myself, I would also sway towards the technological advancement in any automotive vehicle and any automobile that I decide to go with. Because, I mean, as much as classiness and simplicity has a part to play, well, I mean, it is the 21st century. We all want that sleek, you know, a vehicle that can do a lot of things and make life easy. A lot of people in this time and age want something easy. Nobody wants to do something when there's you can press a button and it is done for you. You understand? All right, so I'll be opening it up to people that want to ask questions right about now. So if you have any questions to ask, please signify so we can bring you up for you to ask your questions. As we are doing that, let me ask you this one more question. And if anyone wants to ask any question, please signify and we'll bring you up to ask your own questions. Straight off, this is also a personal one now. We're just talking about your preference in the automobile. Now, just give me a little bit of insight on a lighter note. What is the name of a car that you love and you would love to own if you could?
Oh, you're gonna have to have a list to
Oh, you
listen
have a
down.
list.
um,
Okay. Okay,
I
rain it
think
on me. Let's go.
there's few vehicles that I think are pretty substantial in their way, that they have been built. There's a vehicle. When I visited San Francisco last year, there was a vehicle that can drive but also can fly. So I honestly forgot what
Fly.
that it could fly. Yeah, like they had
Wow.
it demoed, and it opens up its wings, and you could actually take off. But you could also drive it if you choose to drive it. That
I
car
mean, we need a car
is
like that
something
in
else.
Nigeria.
To skip the traffic. um, but I honestly forgot what the company's name called. They were a startup, and they did have a prototype, and I've
Mm,
seen the videos, and it's phenomenal.
yeah.
I guess the other things or the other vehicle would probably be the Cybertruck. I know that it's such a
Nice. My Tesla.
it yeah, because I would want to see how other companies like Ford and Dodge will compete. One of the highest sold, one of the uh, highest sold cars in North America is the F-150, which is a pickup truck, same as the Cybertruck, and it would give us an idea, or at least it would give me an idea of how well they can compete against Tesla, who has a Cybertruck. So that's my other choice. I'll keep it at two. I'll keep it at two, just so we can allow a bit of people to ask questions.
All right, thank you very much. I mean, I want to ask you about one. There's a car I came across on a video. So Sony, all right, we all know Sony, yeah. Sony just released. I mean, this year, yes, they released a prototype of their Sony Afila. All right. So what do you think about it? Because I believe it contains a lot of technological features. I mean, just looking at it screams futuristic. So what do you think about Sony Afila? Please, anyone that has a question, please signify so we could bring you up. All right, please.
The feel I've actually didn't really look into it. I just heard about their
Oh,
release. But
okay.
yeah, I think it's not a bad idea to go for SUVs, given that a lot of people buy SUVs because they have a family. So in terms of their um, like I know that they're maybe trying to mimic some of Tesla's products, but it really all comes down to what's the technology that empowers the driver's experience and how it improves the comfort of the driver as well. But yeah, like we don't really have it here in Canada, or to my knowledge, we don't have it here in Vancouver. Um, but I will give you my review as soon as I get in one. I will be able to tell.
I mean, it's the car that I feel like I really need. I mean, and that one you talked about that could fly. Come on, we need that in Nigeria. Because,
I don't know if it's
I
too early
mean,
for that type of cars, but it was a
mm,
pretty neat vehicle. Yeah.
mm, true, true. All right. Okay. So please, anyone that has any question? Mary, please, can you bring up anyone that has a question so we could ask him before I ask the last question? Okay. So as we wait for people to compile their questions, for those that have questions, as we wait for them to compile their questions, and as we wait for Mary to bring them up, let me ask you this final question. Okay, you have a question.
I
Okay,
Good afternoon,
floor.
Souren. Um, I mean the session has been very insightful. I gained a lot. Especially when you were talking about your the different technological advancements that you're looking at that could revolutionize the industry in the coming years. So it actually got me thinking, and so I thought to ask, in your own view, I mean, since you work with a lot of repair shops and technicians. So, looking at the future of automobile, I mean, right now the future of automobile screams self-driving and electric. So, what would the futuristic repair shop look like? I mean, if you were to paint a picture, an imaginative picture of what a futuristic car repair shop or a car repairman would look like, what would come into your what how would you probably describe it from your um perspective?
Yeah, good afternoon to you as well. So it's going to be definitely far less dirty than what it is currently. In my consideration, in terms of the future, how the future mechanic is going to look like, I think they would. I don't know if we're going to have human mechanics in the future. And by that, like maybe in 10 years, that could be the case. Uh, the more we advance toward, robotics and humanoid robots to do certain jobs, your future, mechanic shop might just be a facility where you deposit your car in, and then it will figure out what your problem is, and based on how you describe your problem. Like right now, you could describe your problem if you go to like ai.openauto.ca, which is our own mechanic AI. You can describe the problem, and then it will comprehend and understand, what you're facing, and give you insightful idea of, what could be the problem. The future might be that, you request it, and then your car starts to drive by itself to the repair shop, and then it gets deposited in this in this repair shop, and then it will figure out, based on your concern, what the problem is, and it will tell you, okay, this is the problem, this is how much it's going to cost if you want to fix it, and then on the other end, you get your car fixed. So that's the long-term vision, but it might not be too far from us seeing this in real time. In terms of the near future, I guess the more shops adopt EV maintenance, the less dirtier they get, just because there's not any any oils or fluid. You're gonna have other types of fluids like brake fluids and such, but it's gonna look a little bit less dirty. The mechanics evolution is going to go toward more augmenting the mechanic with maybe AR glasses or other types of tools that is on them all the time. Besides their mechanical tools, their pry bars or their other tools that they use. But the industry itself I think it's going to see a quick jump, and this is going to come from tech companies who are building in this space. It's not going to come from repair shops, or it's also unlikely to come from parts, tool providers like Snap-on or the others. The industry leaders are going to be tech companies. I don't have a doubt in that.
All right, thank you very much for that. In the absence of any other question, I think I'll just ask one final question and then we call it a day. So the question is, the current decade has seen numerous advancements in how individuals, use and interact with their vehicles, and their cars and all of those things. Now, can you point out one of such innovations that you are particularly excited about? One of such technological innovations that you're particularly excited about.
I briefly mentioned about the role of like technologies, tools like GPT-4 or technologies like large language models are going to have influence on the customer experience in the automotive space. And as I said, I am biased toward talking about the repair and maintenance experience, but this will influence vehicle purchasing decisions as well for customers. People are not going to need to talk with a salesperson who's trying to squeeze them into buying one car over the other. So, I expect seeing development towards helping people make better decisions when it comes to purchasing vehicles and purchasing cars. And by using technology like large language models or tools like GPT-4, then we're going to be able to accelerate achieving this unique customer experience. I think overall the customer experience is going to be far better, far greater, and far more difficult to compete.
True. All right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
So this is, yeah. So this is where we'll be joining content for today's edition or today's episode or today's Twitter space. I'm sure we have learned one or two things from the topic today: the role of technology in the advancement of the automotive industry, the role technology plays. All right. Many thanks to guest Souren Khetcho. Thank you very much for making our time to be
Thanks for
here with
having
us.
me.
All right, we really do appreciate it. All right, to everyone
All
that
right.
tuned in, yes, thank you. All right, to everyone that's listened in, a very big thank you to everyone. Thank you for joining. You can as well follow us on Twitter. We are that car fixer on Twitter, on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We are Flickwell. Yes, Flickwell is the name, and wherever you see us, you know we are that car fixer. Whenever you have a problem with your car, you do not have so much money to fix it. You call on us, we will definitely, most definitely answer you. All right. Thank you very much for hanging out here with us. I'm sure you've learned one or two things from today's edition, from today's episode. We'll be here again to give you good content that has to do with the automotive industry, that has to do with cars, vehicles, traffic, everything that has to do with the automotive industry. All right. I have been your host and I remain your host, the radio paragon, the mic verbalizer. They call me the radio lover boy. My name is Joshua Ikeye Mercury. Thank you very much for staying tuned and good night.
Take care. Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank you.
having me.
All right. Thank you.